FatDag is a WeightWatchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of WeightWatchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
I am your host, FatDag, and you're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, and your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, here we are, episode 122 of WhysAdvice. It's always good to be here. Been a little bit of a break for those of you who are following along daily on the podcast. You know I do the show every single day, with the exceptions of the days, and in some cases, the weeks that I don't. I got to follow my schedule when it comes to doing this. Got a lot going on, and I'm kind of working this in, but it's very important for me to check in every once in a while for my accountability, for your accountability. So I appreciate the patience. I appreciate the support as we continue going through this. Real soon, if we haven't yet, I actually haven't checked the numbers, but we're going to hit about 1 million downloads within the week. By the time you're hearing this, we're going to click over the 1 million download mark, which is something that just completely blows my mind. That's all from your support. That's from you sharing this podcast on your social media channels, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Twitter, or any of the private social networking channels that you're a member of. The fact that you share it because it's working for you is what continues to make the show grow, and that's what brings us all together. So thank you for sharing that and just making it a part of your day, part of my day, and we'll continue to do this because we are changing lives. So out of the gate, Ellen writes in, says, "Hi, Mike. I'm really loving your podcast. I have 2 questions for you. The 3 times that I've tried your all strawberries fruit cup at ChicFilA, they've told me they can't do that. Well, in 2 cases, or that it would be $2 more in 1 case. Any tips for me on that? I ordered the 12 grilled nuggets with the barbecue sauce. My second issue is my trigger foods, the cookies, the cakes, the brownies, etc. Even when I make a solid plan of having only 1, I always give in and have 2 or 3 or 4. I'm always so mad at myself for lacking the self-control and discipline to stick with 1. Can you help? Obviously, I don't have these foods in the house, so it's not an everyday issue, but I want to be satisfied with 1. Thank you for your wisdom and your service to our country. Congrats on your excellent score, too. Ellen." Ellen, well, thank you for tuning into the podcast. As you know, it's a labor of love. It's something that that I really enjoy doing. The fact that you're loving it continues to remind me and reinforce that we need something more often than just the weekly meeting or being able to plug in on our own on Connect. We need that little bit of a voice sitting on our shoulder, and the fact that you found it and it's working for you, I'm glad to do that. Now, how do we tackle this all strawberry fruit cup? It's hit or miss, and I've done what I can, reaching out to the ChicFilA folks and say, come on, let's make this a national policy. It's clearly something we want. What if someone was allergic to apples? You've got to be able to customize the fruit cup to say no apples. I know of people who are actually allergic to apples. So to be able to customize your fruit cup to however you want to do it should be an option nationwide. I think it's a matter of you just asking. I think it's a matter of you sitting down with the management of your local ChicFilA restaurant and explaining to them, hey, listen, I'm trying to change my life, and you're a big part of it. I really could use some help and support. And what I'd like is I'd like to substitute the apples, the oranges, the blueberries, and just have all strawberries. Or maybe strawberries and blueberries, whatever it is that you prefer in the fruit cup. But I think a conversation with the management there would certainly go a long way. Now, you're right. In some cases, they do offer that, and they do a fruit upcharge, but I'm glad to pay that. I can't look back and tell you how much more I've spent on strawberries, but I'm sure it's less than I've spent on clothing at this point. So it's all a balance of my journey. I'll spend it again because that is what enabled me to continue eating and making healthy choices and fitting things into my day, was that I could go to my familiar restaurants and have a familiar meal, but that I could customize it to the way I want. So my advice is just continue to keep asking. Ask at the management level. Usually at every single ChicFilA I've been in, near the door, there's a number that says something along the lines of, if you're not happy with the service, here's a number to call. Or if you're happy with the service, here's a number to call. So I know for me, a couple times, even when I've been able to get the strawberries, I still call the number and I thank them and say, hey, you know what? Thank you for providing this service to me. It enabled me to help me continue my focus. And so I just appreciate the fact that you're able to offer it. So maybe that's what I would try in your scenario. Let's talk about the trigger foods, the cookies, the cakes, the brownies. And so I understand that. I think a lot of us can relate to this. We make a solid plan where we say, I'm only going to have one. One turns into 2, 3, and 4. I can relate to that. That happens to me. I have the most willpower before I take that first bite. After I take the first bite, it's very, very difficult to resist the second or the third. And you're right, sometimes it even goes into 4. So I know that about my journey. And what I've understood is that I have to really, really, really want something to go off plan for that first bite. Because I know, just like you, I know in my journey that first bite probably means I'm going to have 2 or 3 because I don't have the willpower to stop at 1. So I stop at 0 before I have that first one more often than not. The times that I don't do that, I'm mindful. I use a lot of my weekly points at that point to compensate for it because I know it's going to happen. But what I want you to focus on is you got to think about what we're doing when we do this. Right? So if you're in the weight loss part of this journey, I think it's slightly different than if you're in the maintenance part of this journey. But if you're in the weight loss part of this journey, obviously you're trying to lose weight, you're tracking your points, you're eating on plan to the best of your ability. Most of this stuff, while it certainly is doable, it's keeping your bad habits on life support. Right? So how we got into this scenario is because we overeat on a lot of cookies, cakes, and brownies. Or we overeat on larger portions, and we're mixing things into our lifestyle that don't exactly agree with our lifestyle. So by that continuing to do that, even in the small quantities, you're continuing to keep that sugar addiction alive. You're continuing to keep that part of that habit of after dinner I have a brownie, or after this however the habit works into your mind. So trying to cut the quantity at that point is extremely difficult. What I did for me is during the weight loss part of my journey is I said, you know what? No, I'm just not going to have it. Or I am going to stop eating points when I'm at a point, which that limited me to just 1 or a half or whatever the points were. So if you stay solid to the plan of when you're at a points, stop eating points, and that is your rule, that will keep you honest to the small quantities that fit in. If you can't keep to that rule, then the next rule you got to keep to is you just can't have it. You have to then, at that point, when you reach your goal, introduce it back in. I'm not a big fan of that option. What I'd much rather you do is I'd much rather you just continue to live by the motto, when you're at a points, stop eating points. Obviously, you don't have those foods in the house, as you said, and that is the number one way as well. At 10 o'clock at night, if you get the munchies, you can't have something you don't have in your house. Generally speaking, we're not going to get in the car at 10 p.m. and drive to a store just to satisfy a craving. To have plenty of fruit and vegetables on hand to get you through the process. So you're doing a fantastic work. Continue to take the focus on you. The fact that you've written in lets me know that you're trying everything you can to work your plan, and that will carry you to goal. Shannon writes in, says, "Hi, Mike. I just finished watching some of the Facebook Live episode number 100. Congratulations on that. It's amazing how many people you are influencing on a daily basis. Your podcast is becoming my go-to listen on my way to work, at work, on a break, and when I walk, run, or work out. I've had the chance to communicate with you a few times on Messenger, And this is my second email. Just to update, I am now leading my own meeting, and I'm enjoying the feeling. I'm sure you understand it's of helping people, motivating, affecting other members in a positive way that will hopefully help as many as possible to be successful on their own journey. I have also continued to progress on my own journey. Since my last email, I am now down 114.8 pounds. I have regained my lifetime status as of my first email, but since listening to you and committing to the blue dots and not eating points when I'm out of points, those last stubborn pounds have come off. Just this week, I have met the goal I originally picked when I restarted January 2016. But now I'm not sure if I feel like I am at goal. I had originally just plotted out weights until I found out where I needed to be to achieve a healthy BMI, so I am excited to say that I have a healthy BMI, but just by the last digit on the scale. So now I have to readjust, and I want to move into that range a little bit further. I am setting small goals in 2-pound increments until I get that feeling of standing on the scale and saying, this is it. I do not want to lose any more weight. I hope, as you say, I will know it when I get there. I'm already receiving comments like, would you just please eat and don't lose any more weight, from well-meaning, I think, friends, but I'm not quite there yet. It's close. It's so close I can taste it. With my daily dose of wise advice and your words of wisdom in my head, I know my next email will say, I made it. I am at goal. So thanks for all you do every day to help others work this plan and achieve successes all along the way through your journey and their journey. P.S. Any 100-plus pound losers have any input as to what to do after a dramatic weight loss for toning? I walk, I run, I bike, I mix it up with aerobic and some strength training, but I'm beginning to think the extra skin is just not going to get much better. Any suggestions appreciated? Surgery is not an option. It's not that bad that I would even consider that. My new goal, once I feel I'm at goal, since technically by the Weight Watcher rules I am at goal, is to work to improve my muscle mass and hoping this will help. Thanks again for being my wingman. I'm so proud to be yours, Shannon. Shannon, well, as you know, I am completely honored to be able to do this, as it's the only thing I ever wanted. Once I reached my goal and understood a true goal of what it's like and the freedom that came to my mind of stepping on the scale on the very last time in a weight loss mode, not caring about photos. Someone can take a photo of me any time of the day and I like it. So once I understood that feeling, I wanted nothing more than to convince you that you have the ability to get that feeling for yourself. So I'm honored to be able to do this with you, and I'm so glad that you're leading your own meeting because you have what I consider to be the right mindset to help other people get to this point as well. Hopping on the scale for the very last time in a weight loss mode is something that's fantastic. So anyway, you're now leading your own meetings, and I thank you for that. It's the number one reason that I want to be at goal as well, is to remind you that you have the ability to get there as well. So thank you for doing that. I hope as you say, when you hop on the scale for the very last time in a weight loss mode, it's extremely powerful. And so knowing that you have taken your life into your own hands and made the change that you needed is what got you to goal. You're down 114 pounds. That is fantastic work. You didn't do it by accident. You clearly have proven that you have the ability to get it done. You can do it no matter what. And you now can teach other people how you did it, why you did it, so that they can dig deep, find their own why, and get it done. Now, in response to your question, episode 114 would be the episode that I talk about when we talk about excess skin. I wear it as a badge of honor. I didn't take care of my body, for 20 some years. I can't expect at this point that I decided all of a sudden to take care of it, that it's going to come back perfectly. So I'm willing to accept the battle scars and the flaws that I've given it over the years, and I'm willing to celebrate them. Dig into episode 114. That'll kind of give you a little more detail at it. Now let's talk about your muscle mass though, because there is one way you can certainly tone up by adding some muscle mass under that layer of skin, but it's a long journey as well. I don't know the research on this, but I'm willing to bet that adding the right amount of muscle tone back under your skin is a slower process than it was to lose the weight. So you have to adopt the mindset, I just want to live healthy. I just want to be fit. I just want to get done what I need to do. I want to be a healthy, fit person, which means I eat right, I work out regularly, and I feel great. You got to love you no matter what part of the journey you're in. You have to love the amazing work that you did to get down 114 pounds. You have to love the health benefits that you've regained as a result. And at that point, we just accept that we are in the best shape of our lives, mentally and physically. And if we get some loose skin to celebrate with it, then so be it, because that is an amazing accomplishment. So keep up the great work. Patty writes in and says, well, yes, I made Lifetime November 2016. Oh, how great I felt. I was even a little lower from that Lifetime weight. I had some wiggle room. I could wear anything. Clothes fit and they looked good. I was on the sewing machine taking in clothes and inseams. Man, it was a great time. Well, you see, the thing about the wiggle room is I allowed myself to wiggle too much and I gained 12 pounds. Oh, but that's not the problem. My husband and I decided to move in with my 88-year-old sister-in-law as my brother passed, and my sister-in-law she's a gem, and so yes, my husband was agreeable, and we started putting those plans in motion. Well, due to the hectic packing and moving schedule, as we were moving from North Carolina to Virginia, things got out of control, and WeightWatchers got put on the shelf. Isn't it funny why we do that? I wouldn't go near Connect. Even thought I carry my phone with me whenever I go. And when those thoughts of healthy eating came to mind, I pushed them out. Why do we do that? Yes, I did it to myself. I made bad choices. I am now 28 pounds from goal. But you know what? I am beginning to settle in now, and I found my new normal. I started back full force on WeightWatchers, and I feel reborn again, excited, so glad to be back home, as it were. This is only my first week back, and weigh-in is later today, and I can't wait to go to my meeting. Oh yes, I lost, and I did good on my points this week. I went over a bit, but I reclaimed my points, if that is possible, as I didn't use all of my points up the next day, so I balanced out in the end. Not sure if you can do that, not sure if it's also cheating, but I feel great, and it's only my first week back, and I do not plan to make that a habit. I journeyed from 180 pounds to 137, back to 169, and now I am journeying back on the road to 139. I don't want too much wiggle room. I love to eat. I don't want to get carried away again. Your podcast has enhanced my motivation to stick and stay the course. I love the expression new normal. That was such an eye-opening for me. I will continue to listen to you, for you are very motivating and encouraging. Thank you for all that you do. Patty out of Newport, North Carolina. Patty, I think this story, as you've written in, is probably very, very normal for a lot of folks. I see all over the place that, folks have hit Lifetime and then celebrated their way back away from it. And so what I would say to you is we have to really, truly understand that WeightWatchers it's a way of life. It's not something that you do. You have to embrace it as something that you are. And so if it's just something that you are, it's just a part of you no matter what, there's going to be some fluctuation. Sure, 28 pounds may be a little extreme, but not in the sense where you're mindful and you're right back to knowing that this is what you do and you're willing to get it done. The term new normal is something that all of us have to figure out. As we go through this journey, there is always going to be something that has the ability to derail us. When we joined Weight Watchers in the first place, we joined because we got ourselves to a point where we were unhealthy. We carried on more weight than we're comfortable with, and we allowed that to happen to ourselves. For us to get there, that is what we had defined as normal. So now to break, in some cases, 10, 15, 20 years of that normal, and to try and do it in a couple years is very, very difficult. So you have to stay mindful every single day to what your new life is. You have to say, I've abandoned parts of my old life and I no longer do those things. Weight Watchers is now something that is a part of me. It's who I am, and I'm continually mindful to it. As life brings you challenges, as things continue to rock your world, having to make a move, losing a parent, a friend, completely disrupting your life, you're moving, like I said, or I can't even imagine all of the daily scenarios that happen to every single one of us in this journey that very easily could get us derailed. And what happens is when that life-changing event, the birth of a child, when those life-changing events come on, life is completely different for us. We then resort to our old habits because that is what we know for normal. That is what the routine used to be. And somewhere along the lines, we have to then figure out when new normal sets in, when we start recognizing we're back into a new routine, that routine is our new normal. And when we're back in that routine, we need to then figure out how to adjust that routine into this new way of life of us being a Weight Watcher. And we blend it back in, and it's why this journey will be going on for the rest of our lives as long as we stay mindful to it. I understand your thoughts of, not wanting to track and not opening the app, even though it's right there. I understand the fact when you say the healthy food options popped in your brain and you quickly abandoned them and you moved on and said no. You have to find a way to set some trigger points. You have to set some limits. For me, it's clothing sizes at this point. I feel great. I'm very happy. I'm very comfortable in my 31-inch jeans and my medium t-shirt. The day that I try on a medium t-shirt and it no longer fits, that's going to be an alarm bell for me. The day I put on the 31 pair of pants that I've now had on for a little over a year, when I put them on and they're snug, that is going to be my trigger point. At that point, if I had, a size 32 or a size 33 in my closet, I would instantly grab them. And then suddenly those become too big. It's the number one reason why I say get rid of the clothes that are too big on your journey because, for me, if I wear a pair of 31 pants today, they're going to fit tomorrow. They'll at least fit enough where I can wear them. And if they're tight tomorrow, then I can just simply remind myself to stay focused, get back on the plan, and within a couple days, they become back to fitting perfectly. So you've got to adjust to this new normal. That's the way we get this whole thing done. So when you develop those new routines and you start making good, healthy life choices for life, that is when you're going to win. Pamela writes in out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, says, "Hi, Mike. I found your podcast last week. They have changed my approach to weight loss. I am binge listening, currently listening to episode number 55. I can't wait to get to the 100th episode. I was motivated to revisit my why. It's always been for better health, but I better define the why. In my case, the whys I printed and I posted where I can read them every day. Currently, I have a string of blue dots of 15. Yesterday, I posted my third straight week of losses at the meeting weigh-in. I have set attendance goals with the tread climber 5 days a week. I just did 3, only 4 minutes of it, but I did it. I have reached my 5% goal, and I'm well on my way to 10% goal and my 25-pound charm. Thanks for all you do. You are my wingman. Pamela." Pamela, yes, congratulations on changing your mindset. If we had changed the way we approach this weight loss and we say, I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to set an attendance goal. I'm trying to work out a little more than normal. I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm trying to be a better version of myself every single day. We tap into why we're doing this. We do exactly as you did. We print it down. We post it. We write it somewhere where we can read it every day. Again, it goes back to why I want you to tune into the podcast every single day, because I want something daily to remind you that you're on this journey for help. So congratulations on completely changing your own mindset. The fact that you've written down your why, I believe, is a strong indicator that you are going to get the goal. You're going to continue getting your blue dots. You're going to continue using the tread climber. And you're going to continue doing both of those things until you read your why one day, and suddenly you'll realize that nothing in there is valid. That everything that you wrote in there, you've either cured or it's gone away, you've taken care of it, you did the hard work to solve it. And when you solve it, that is how you get to goal. You've reached your 5% goal. Congratulations. There's no only about it. It's not only about you doing only 4 minutes on the treadmill. That's an attendance goal. There's no only reaching 5% goal. You're well on your way to your 10%. And then your 25-pound charm. If you've lost 5%, you can hit 10%. A 5% weight loss proves to us that you understand how the program works. You understand that there are some good days and some bad days, and you're piecing together more good days than bad days. And you set a small goal for you. And you've hit that goal, and you have proven that you can do it. Continue doing that. You'll get to your 10%. Continue doing that. You'll get to 25 pounds lost. Continue doing that, and you will hit whatever goal you set for yourself. And at that point, you hop on the scale, and you say, I no longer want to lose any more weight. I like how I look. I like how I feel. I'm wearing the clothing that I've never been able to wear before. I look great in them. I want people to take photos of me. I'm happy to be everything that I am. And at that point, again, you say congratulations and you've hit goal. You work the program and you celebrate lifetime. Now, before the show, hanging out on Facebook is a couple cool emails. Ruth said on Facebook again, she said down 50 pounds. Congratulations out to you, Ruth. Araceli down 50 pounds as well. Congratulations to you. And Georgine hit her goal weight. Amazing, amazing accomplishments. And that's what we do together. We celebrate together. We laugh together. We cry together because we are all in this journey together. If you think for a second that you're doing this by yourself, you don't have to. There is an amazing community of people who are out there doing everything that you're doing. They're having some success. They're having great success. They're having some struggle. At the end of that struggle, they find the reason to carry forward. And that success continues to grow and they hit their goal weight. You can do it. Stepping on the scale for the very last time, not wanting to lose any weight, is a feeling that you can only feel. I can't describe it. I can only tell you that the hard work that you're doing will carry you to that point, and when you get there, you will recognize it. And at that point, we celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to FatDag.com. Click on Listen Now. Send in your celebrations. You can email in at onair@fatdag.com. Send in your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because this show relies 100% on your input. You're providing the content. You're providing the structure to the show that keeps you accountable, keeps me accountable, and lets everybody know that together we're getting it done. And I want you to be proud of everything that you're doing because what you're doing is hard work, but you're getting it done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you